Date is just another data type, just like we have string and numbers and boolean. But the reason why I have kept date and time as a separate tutorial in itself is because of the complexities it has. Let me give an example. Some people would write the date in this format: 2021 hyphen, and the month will be 01 hyphen, and the day is say 15th. While there are others who would write it this way: 2021 slash 01 slash 15. And there are also others who write it this way: 2021 0115. And also, depending upon the country that you are in, now this could be the format that people in a particular country use: year, month, and date. But some of the Asian countries, like India, it is used in this way: day, month, and year. So, since different people use different format, so there should be some way for us to help R and Python to understand that this is a date. If I create a variable dt equal to 15012021, so only if I write like this, it will understand that it's a date, right? Not really. Let me execute this. So when I execute the dt, it is showing in quotes, which means it is thinking that it is a character. So if I do class of dt, it will say it's a character. Now for us to change it from character to date, we have this provision. Let me say dt2 equal to as.Date. There is this function as.Date, and inside this we just have to pass this particular variable. So we are passing this variable and we are actually forcing it to get converted to a date. And now, since it's in a different format altogether, we also have an option of specifying the format. And the format will be, let me take format in the next row. Format will be, again, I'll put it in quotes. So the first one is 15, which is actually a day. And for day in R, we have to show this as percentage small d. And after date, we have a hyphen here. So we can put a hyphen here as well. So we have taken care of this part so far. Now 01 stands for month. So we can say percentage m, small m, which stands for month. And then we can put another hyphen and say percentage capital Y. We put capital Y because here the year is in 4 digits. And had this been just 2 digits, had this just been 15, 01, 21, we can just put a small y here. So for now, we are putting it as capital Y. Now when I execute this, dt2 has got executed. Alright, now you can't see the code there. And it has understood that 2021 is a year. So though we wrote dt equal to 15/1/2021, it now has correctly captured the date. So this is the year, month, and day. Now let's say we write dt3 as 2021 15/01. 2021 is the year, 15 is the day. So year, day, month. So how do we do that? How can we change this to a proper date format? Because if I execute this again, dt3, it is again in quotes. It doesn't understand what exactly it is. It will consider this as a string. So to change this, what we do, we can either create a new variable or we can change that same variable itself. So dt3 equals as.Date, and then you put dt3 as is. Let me not type the format. Let us see what will happen. I execute this. It is throwing an error because it has not understood what exactly is going on here. All right. So let me change this and add the format. Easier way of getting help from R is just type a comma and press a tab button. It will tell you what are the other parameters that we can enter. All right, we can go to the other parameters a little later, but right now let us understand what are the basic parameters that we can take advantage of. So let's use a format here, and I select format. And now in the codes, now since this is the year first, 2021, so I would be typing percentage capital Y, but here there is no hyphen. So then what would I do? I would put a percentage And since it's a day, so I would just put %d and then %m. The month comes at the very end. Now, if I execute dt3, this particular line, here again it has got correctly converted to a proper date after we executed this, though it's in a weird format. So, irrespective of how the user enters the date in different files, it can still be converted to a proper date format. So that is the beauty of R, and we'll also get to see that in Python as well. R and Python, they've got wonderful libraries as well to easily understand and identify which is the day, which is the month, which is the year, and what weekday it is. Okay, let's also talk about another library that we have in R, which is a very useful library to know, and that library is called lubridate. And to call the library, we just have to type library and type the package. Now, when I'm typing this, it is not showing anything, which means probably I don't have that package with me. So if I don't have that package, I need to go to tools and go to install packages and then type lubridate. Click on the enter button and then install. And once I do that, the installation would take some time, and in fact, it has already got installed. Now to call this library, I just need to type library, and then if I just type the first few letters, it'll pop up that am I trying to write or am I trying to type lubridate. And yes, I can just select it as is and execute this run button. Now once this lubridate library is executed, so there are quite a few functions in this library lubridate which we can take advantage of. Let's talk about the first one, year, month, day. And I click on the run button. It says this is the year, this is the month, and this is the day. Because we have already changed the DT3 format to a proper year, month, day format. Now, if I want to capture which month it is, if I just want to capture the month, I can do something like this, MONTH, and there you see it's already part of the lubridate package. I just have to select it, and inside the month function, I just have to pass in this particular variable dt3. So if I type dt3 here and click on the run button, it says 1 because we are in the first month. Now if we need to display this as January, we have an option here. Go back to this month function, put a comma and then a tab function. Now here, if we say label equal to true, so once we click on the run button, it now says it is January. And of course, it says that levels are Jan, Feb, March up to December. Jan comes first, so Jan less than Feb, less than March. We don't have to worry about this, but all that we have to see here is it is getting displayed as Jan. That is more important. And if we want to know what weekday it is, that's another option we have in lubridate, WEEK and week. All right, if we select inside week, if we just put DT3 and click on the run button, it says it's the third week of the year. Yes, it is absolutely right because we are on 15th of January. So 1 to 14 are the 2 weeks, and from 15th we start with the third week. So these are quite a few options that we get in lubridate. What else do we have here? Okay, let's type quarter, QUART. So quarter is another option that we have in lubridate. Again, I click on the tab and then DT3 and then I click on the run button. It says it's quarter 1. That's fantastic, isn't it? Now we also have days in month, and if I type DT3 and click on the run button, we are in January, and this month actually has 31 days. We are on 15th and we want to know how many more days to go before we come to the end of the month. We can use this as one variable to find that out. Today, if I click on the run button, it says today, this is the date. Today is 12th of January 2021. So these are some of the functions that we have in lubridate. In fact, there are many more functions in lubridate that we can take advantage of, but I don't want to make this tutorial very lengthy. Now that I have given you a start, I would request you to try to explore more about lubridate and see what other functions we have in lubridate that we can take advantage of. Anyways, we will be solving a few problems in the future where in some of the problems we'll also be looking at the date problems, how to solve some date puzzles or date problems. We'll anyway go little more in depth with respect to date. Now let's move over to Python. Before going to Python, if you want to explore a little more about lubridate, you can do that using the help function here. So if you just type help lubridate and click on the enter button, here you get this help option here. Or you could probably have typed lubridate over here in the search function. And maybe you could just go through this help that we have for date, particularly for lubridate function, and see if you can try a few more things. And also please mention in the comment section if you want me to elaborate little more, and if you want me to take a few more sessions on date, I'm more than happy to do that. In fact, if required, I could even have a separate date and time series playlist for R and Python. It is that huge, that it is that vast. But for now, I just want to get you started so that you can start using these functions in both R and Python. And as and when you proceed, you can definitely explore more on that. Now, if R was good, let's see how Python is with respect to dates. Now, there are quite a few ways in which we can use the date function in Python. We have a date time library, and we also have pandas from which we can take advantage of some of the functions that it has. Let's say right now we are using pandas here. Import pandas as PD. Let me do what we did here in R. So I assigned a particular character. Now here let me do it a little differently. Let's say we have Jan hyphen 2021 hyphen 25, and let me execute this particular cell. So if I say dt, it says Jan 2125 with a quote here, so it looks like it's a character. Type of dt, it is a string. Now we need to convert this to a date. So we can do this with the pd dot. Pd is again the alias for pandas. Just like we imported NumPy in our one of the previous tutorials, here we are importing PD as an alias for pandas. PD dot. Now, if I click on the tab, I know what all things I can use here, right? So let me just type to. So there you have 2_date time. Now I select this, and in the parenthesis, I just type dt here, and let me assign it to dt1. And once I'm done with this, let me also print dt1 here. And once I execute this using shift plus enter, it throws an error. That's because it probably could not understand what we have written here. Unknown string format. Okay, let me try to modify this just a bit. Let's see if it is able to understand. I'm still not putting any format here. Okay, I have put everything together, so there's no space in between. I executed this cell. Now let me execute this as well. So type is still a string, and now let me execute this line. What has happened now is it is able to figure out that Jan is 01 and this is year. So it is able to figure out what is a year, month, and date. That's interesting. Okay, now let me try to change this just a bit. Let me say Jan 2021 year, day. Let me remove that hyphen. 2021, 25, and let me say January. And let me run this cell. So now it is January 25, 2021, and it is still a string. Okay, let's see what it is going to give us here. It is still giving us correctly. So even if we have tweaked it a bit without even putting the format, it is still able to identify which is the month, which is the year. Okay, let's do a few more things here. Say 2021. Okay, let me change this just a bit. Let me do it something like 23rd Jan 2021. I've got an RD also over here. Okay, and let me just restart and clear all the output, and let me execute all the cells one by one. dt type, it's still a string, and dt1, it is still able to figure out what is the day, month, and year. So that's really fantastic, isn't it? Now in this, if you want to know how many days are there in that month, just like we were able to do over here in our days in month. So if I do dt1 dot and a tab, here we have all the features that we can take advantage of. Okay, let's say we want to find the day name, and let me execute this. Oh, I'm sorry, I need, it's a function. So day name, it says it's a Saturday. So 23rd of Jan 2021, 23rd of Jan 2021, it's indeed a Saturday. So that's terrific, isn't it? Okay, what more do we have? dt1 dot day of week, and if I execute this, it says it's the fifth day of that particular week. So 23rd, again let me go to the calendar here. So in Python, days start from Monday, and Monday is 0. So the indexing, when I talk about indexing, everything starts from 0. So here Monday is the first day of the week, and this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So it has correctly identified that this is the fifth day of the week. Interesting. dt1 dot, what else do we have? Day of year, days in month. How many days are there in this month? It says it's 31. Perfect. dt1 dot, let's go to next. Is this a leap year? It is not a leap year because 2021 is not a leap year. Let's just check. Let's put this as 2020 and see if it is giving us a leap year or not. Yes, it is giving us a leap year. So it is able to correctly figure out what is a leap year and what is not a leap year. dt1 dot, what else? Is it a month end? No, it is not, because we are on 23rd Jan. Okay, what else do we have? Is quarter end. Sorry, I think I put an extra s there. Is quarter end. This is not the end of the quarter. Again, you can experiment with this. So we have quite a few of this out here, even in Python. And Python is smart enough. When we use the pandas library, Python is really smart enough to figure out, no matter how we tweak things, which is the day, which is the month, and which is the year. Let's just for a moment try this in R as well. Okay, in R, let me change this to 23rd Jan 2020, and let me execute this. And if I want to change this to a date, does this really work without the format here? Let me remove the format here, and I'm just changing it to date here. Let me just execute this. It is not able to convert this into a date as is. So here we have to do a little bit of tweaking. So if I do a format equal to, now here things have changed just a bit. So this is the day. So it will be percentage %d. And what do I have after that? RD. So I have to keep it as is, and there is a space which we have to also maintain in the format. And Jan. Now Jan here is the form of a name of the month. It is not 01 numeric. It is JAN. And had it been numeric, we could have still used M like this, indicating it's a month. And since it's a name now, JAN, we'll have to use something like percentage %b, and then put a space again and percentage capital Y. Now if we execute this, and dt2, it has correctly figured out which is the day, month, and year. So Jan has been correctly identified as its 01, the first month of the year. So that's how things are in dates. I hope you found it really interesting. In fact, I won't say that just because Python pandas is able to correctly figure out, even if we tweak the dates here and there, pandas has got a better library. We can, if you try exploring lubridate, you'll find that lubridate is also pretty good library and almost equally good as it is in Python. And I would request you to explore a little more about lubridate, and you're really going to find it very exciting. And also at the same time, please try to explore in pandas as well, and also try to explore another library which is date time. Import date time, and date time has got many other important features, important functions, which probably you should try and explore. And anyways, once we are done with the basic, and once we understand the syntax and coding, we'll also start solving a few problems where we use almost everything that we have learned and try to solve at least 40 to 50 problems before we say R and Python tutorial is enough. Now let's move over to statistics. Till then, we are going to continue. All right, I hope you found this tutorial really interesting and exciting. And now, as we move forward, we are going to find things more and more exciting. I hope you like my tutorial. If you have any questions, feedback, suggestions, please do post them in the comment section. We shall meet again in the next tutorial. Thank you very much.